What's up, guys? Mr. Noonan here. So, obviously, right now is a weird time for everybody because we can't have school. A lot of people can't go to work. There's a lot of confusing things happening in Fairborn, in Ohio, and across the country. It's a weird time. I've never gone through anything like this before. You guys never gone through anything like this before, obviously. And no one really knows what's going to happen or what to do. So what I thought I would do, and Mr. Curry, the 7th grade social studies teacher on the purple team, is going to be helping me out with some of this, is we're going to make some videos. And in these videos, we're going to be doing some gaming while also doing a little bit of remote learning. So right now I'm in Minecraft, obviously, as you can see. This is one of my Minecraft servers. And we're going to talk about castles today because you guys have been learning and studying about the Middle Ages and reading about the Middle Ages. So we thought it would be kind of cool to do a little video about that. So today I'm going to talk to you about 3 different types of castles. All right, so the first type is called the Motte and Bailey Castle. So I made these with a couple of my friends. Shout out to their names are Dane and Adrian. So this is the Motte and Bailey Castle, all right, in our Minecraft world. So obviously it's not perfect, but you get the general idea. So I'm gonna come in here. Whoop. All right, so the Motte and Bailey Castle, the first thing you need to know is that this was made basically entirely out of wood. Okay, and this was one of the earliest forms of castles in medieval Europe. The problem with this castle, and the reason why they moved away from it later on, is because it was vulnerable to fire. Meaning that the enemies realized that all they needed to do was use weapons that were on fire or use fire tactics, and they would be able to destroy the castle very easily. So typically the Motte and Bailey Castle would have a wall going around the outside or a fence going around the outside made of wood. Also around the outside of the fence they would have a trench that they would dig all around, and sometimes they would fill this trench with water, but other times they would just leave it. It's not the best for defense, as you can see. So the people would live in this section, which is called the Bailey. This section right here is called the Bailey. And people would live here. Weapons were kept here. Food was kept here. Animals were kept here, as you can see. So this could be like somebody's house. Maybe they have a bed. I don't know, right? So this would be like somebody's house. Now, the Motte was this section over here. So the Motte is a hill, just natural hill made out of earth. And at the Motte, they would build what's called a keep, which is this thing right here. And basically, this was a high point in the castle, so somebody would come up here, and they could look around, and they could see if everything was safe. And somebody could keep watch, right? So we got some llamas over there. Oh, there's a trader. So that's the Motte and Bailey Castle. All right, now over here we have what's called the Stone Keep Castle. This is what people started to build when they realized that the Motte and Bailey Castle over there was not so good against fire. So the Stone Keep Castle gets its name because obviously it's made out of stone, and it also has a keep like the Motte and Bailey, which I'll show you. Typically, by the time they were building Stone Keep castles, they would build moats around the castles, which was just like a ditch filled with water to try to make it more difficult to go in. And then they would have a drawbridge to enter the castle, kind of like this one, to enter or leave. This is the Minecraft world, so ours just disappears into the floor. But typically drawbridges would raise and lower, so people could get in and out. But you get the idea. All right, so let's go inside. All right, so on the inside, they would have kind of like a courtyard similar to in the Motte and Bailey, and people would live here. So there would be some houses, and there would also be some storage and things like that, kitchens, places for people to make food. On the outskirts of the wall, they also would typically build these turrets or whatever you want to call them, these towers. So people could come up here to look out, or they could come up here for combat purposes, like to shoot bow and arrows and things like that. In the center of the castle was the keep, which again is how it gets its name, the Stone Keep Castle. And the keep was a tall tower that could see very well to all directions, just like so. So people could be up here keeping lookout, but then also using it as a way to have archers up here and things like that as well. So this castle is a little bit better than the Motte and Bailey Castle. Oh, just took some fall damage. But obviously, still not the best. So I'm going to show you now the third and main type of castle that medieval Europeans switched to towards the end of the Middle Ages. Alright, so the final type of castle is called a concentric castle. Most of the castles, or none of the castles, would have a waterfall like this one does, but this is the Minecraft world, not the Middle Ages. But just like the Stone Keep Castle, there would typically be a moat that went around the castle walls to try to keep people from coming in. And then there also would typically be a drawbridge, just like this one. Alright, so this castle, the concentric castle, is a little bit different from the rest. For starters, the walls were typically thicker. So we made ours 2 walls, or 2 bricks thick instead of just 1. There would be places for people to fight all along the outside. So see somebody like an archer could come and shoot their bow and arrow through this little hole at the enemy, and then they could kind of duck behind to reload, come back out to shoot, duck behind to reload, come back out to shoot, right? So you kind of get the idea. There also is something, this is probably one of the more interesting aspects of a concentric castle. They would have something called a murder hole. And this was right over the portcullis, or right over the gate to the castle. So even if people were somehow able to get across the moat and were kind of trying to break through the doors and things like that, they would build these murder holes so that when the enemy is right here trying to break in, right, there would be people up here at the murder hole doing all kinds of crazy things. Like, for example, they might throw rocks down at them, they might dump hot tar on them, any number of different kind of crazy things. The big difference between this castle and other types of castles is that it had 2 layers of walls. So basically, even if the enemy was somehow able to get through this first wall, there was a whole nother wall that you would have to cross. And there would be archers waiting for you, shooting at you, people kind of hitting you through these holes in the walls and things like that. So this was kind of like a dead zone. Being in between these 2 walls was not a good place to be, because you could have people fighting you from either direction. And like I said, they have these holes in the walls, which makes it easy for them to attack you and hard for you to attack them. And then at the center of the castle, they typically would still have at least 1 or 2 or 3 or several keeps, where someone could come up and be looking all around from all directions, and also again still be fighting from up here, way up here, right? So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Myself and Mr. Curry are planning on making several videos over the course of the next several weeks, or however long this ends up being. Obviously right now the plan is still to come back April 6th, but we don't know for sure if that's going to happen. We have no idea what's going to happen. Obviously no one really does. So however long this lasts, myself and Mr. Curry plan to make as many of these videos as we possibly can. So we plan to do some Fortnite. We talked about doing a little bit of Uno, all the while kind of bringing in social studies and bringing some content to you guys in lots of different creative and hopefully fun ways. So yeah, if you like the idea, leave some comments, let us know what games maybe you'd like to see, or some ideas for the channel. Definitely open to suggestions. Peace out. Making a Motte and Bailey castle. It's very exciting, dude.
I don't know why I thought you said Oak and Bailey, not Motte and Bailey.
Motte. M-O-T-T.
That's why I said, is it made out of Oak and Bailey?
Yeah, I got you. Wait, hold on. Everybody be quiet for a second. Boop, boop. Okay. We're good. I'm making sure that thing started. We're good. Never mind. Sorry. Carry on.
I don't know how to build, so.
Build some wood houses using wood planks.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. It sounds impossible to me.
Digging dirt is fun. Bye. You can have that. Oh, there's a creeper. Can we sleep? I don't want to deal with this. I should just switch this to creative real quick. But that's cheating. What stone might look better than cobblestone that we have a lot of? Nah, we'll just do cobblestone. It's gonna be too complicated.
We can make stone.
Yeah, stone is super easy, and you guys have furnaces for days.
Yeah, I think actual stone is gonna look the best.
Okay. Are we sleeping?
No.
I am currently not. I can. In a second.
I would like to, so I can build this. I thought you guys were gonna help me build
Would
these
you?
castles.
Would you? I asked if you wanted me to help build, and you said no, you're good.
Well, Adrian was helping me, and now he's not. Now he's going into the Nether for some reason.
I need to get levels so we can enchant stuff so we can make better castles.
No.
If he can learn to
need
do something other than destroy, it's helpful. I'm like, if he can learn to do something other than demolish the entire server, we'll be good.
Also, I don't think it's safe that we left all of these furnaces running overnight. Do you need... So do you
Okay,
need,
fire spreads off.
Stone brick.
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
I would like help building the castle.
Okay, do you want stone bricks for it?
I have a lot, but you can bring the what's still cooking if you want. I made a ton.
Okay.
If we can make a drawbridge, that would be amazing. Is it possible?
I'm getting redstone. So
Noonan, there's a bunch of stone brick down here for you.
Hey guys, sun's getting real low. And I got a green monster on me. I think we're in the Avengers.
How am I supposed to...
bad.
Noonan, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
How am I supposed to get to my
What
chest?
are you doing?
If
Figure
you
it
blocked
out,
me
dude.
off, sir.
It's called Minecraft. You build, and it helps you.
Oh my
I'm
gosh,
not a
you
builder,
guys have
I'm a
so much
destroyer.
redstone and no blocks.
Oh, I didn't turn them into...
I need more stone.
Okay, I will do that.
I need more stone fetcher.
Fetcher of stone. More! You guys had an entire chest full of redstone.
Yeah.
But none were made into blocks.
Yeah.
It's an organizational nightmare.
We don't know how to play.
We haven't... we don't know how to
just-
make block. Like, what are you
Adrian
talking
just
about?
let a 1 block high wall stop him, so. If you think we have redstone blocks. Ooh. I think I'm gonna build the last castle up here. It's gonna be annoying. But I'm doing it. You're helping the youth of America learn about the Middle Ages. How does it feel?
Amazing. Because I get to build boats.
Nice. Well said.
Hit the lever.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Nice, dude.
Now we have waterfall.
I hate how you made your character jump. That looks
Yay!
Why do you have a waterfall in your castle?
because Adrian.
That's not. No, doesn't work.
Oh god. Dane,
What?
my moat.
Well, listen, I have to build something here, and it's in the way.
Dane, my moat. You stopped my moat. Dane.
That's my moat.
What's happening?
It's like a weird Forrest Gump.
My mouth. My mouth.
There's a little stairway out for you.
I help.
Okay, so. Oh my god, Adrian!
You're so I hope.
Why?
I can't.
What are
Help?
you doing?
Can you
Can I have
help, please? Help, please. Somebody, please help.